Case 1. Diana Lovejoy. Meet Diana Lovejoy, a YouTuber who is facing a 26-year sentence for conspiring to murder her ex-husband in California. Reports say that in 2016, Lovejoy hired firearms instructor Weldon McDavid Jr. to kill her ex-husband, Greg Mulvihill. Lovejoy and Greg were in the middle of a tough divorce and custody fight. McDavid tricked Greg into going to a remote spot in Carlsbad by pretending to have helpful information for his case against Lovejoy. When Greg got there, he was shot several times. The police arrived after a 911 call and rushed Greg to a nearby hospital where he survived. At her trial, Greg took the stand and described the chilling moment right before he was shot.
After the second time of shining the light on it and staring at it for a second, I realized I was looking at a barrel and a scope of a gun.
Diana Lovejoy collapsed in court after learning her fate. The judge sentenced Diana to 26 years in prison. McDavid was sentenced to 50 years in jail because he was the one who fired the gun. Police learned the call that McDavid made to lure Greg came from a burner phone, which was purchased by Lovejoy 2 weeks before the shooting.
Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg Mulvihill.
She was charged with attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Diana made an emotional plea, saying she still cares about Greg. Case 2. Shanita Latrice Cunningham and Erica Mae Butts. This is Shanita Latrice Cunningham and Erica Mae Butts, who are facing life sentences for killing a child in South Carolina. The two reportedly beat 3-year-old Serenity Richardson to death when Butts was babysitting the child at her home in Somerville. Butts, who was Serenity's godmother, later confessed to repeatedly whipping the child with a belt when she urinated on the floor. Not only that, when Serenity became unconscious, they tried to revive her by putting bleach under her nose and placing her in an ice bath. Serenity suffered from more than 250 injuries to her body, including a lacerated liver, broken ribs, and a fractured skull. While the judge was still speaking, the court was thrown into chaos as both killers slumped and shouted. The judge sentenced the two killers to life in prison without parole after seeing the severe injury to the child. The court finds it appropriate that each be sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for life.
To say that you did not recognize what had been done, to ignore what must have been the excruciating sounds that came from that child on a daily basis, is more than disconcerting to this court. And as such, the court finds it appropriate that each be sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of life.
Both Cunningham and Butts were charged and convicted of child abuse murder. The case was shocking to the core, seeing the severe wounds the child faced before death. Case 3. Gurpreet Singh. Meet Gurpreet Singh, who is facing the death penalty for killing 4 members of his family in Ohio. On April 28, 2019, Gurpreet allegedly shot and killed his wife, Shailendrajit, and his in-laws, Takakat Singh and Parmjit Kaur, and his aunt-in-law, Amarjit Kaur, at their apartment in Westchester Township. He then called 911. When police arrived, they found Gurpreet hysterical and covered in blood. He was taken in for questioning, where he appeared confused about what happened. 2 months later, Gurpreet was arrested outside a Walmart in Connecticut. At his court hearing, Gurpreet collapsed, hitting the ground with a loud thud and a groan.
Is that my fault? No, that's what I'm saying. No, but we have certain evidence we need to get if it exists. covered in blood? I understand. You think this is so easy for me? No, I think this is my family's blood. I think it's horrible. There's evidence, potential evidence on your hand. Where? I don't know. I have been sitting here all day getting your potential evidence.
After a long deliberation, a 3-judge panel sentenced Gurpreet Singh to death. Both the defense and prosecution agreed that Singh was present when his family members were shot. The prosecutors claimed he was the killer, while the defense argued he was just a witness.
First verdict form, State of Ohio versus Gurpreet Singh. Case number CR 2019-071095. Verdict, 3-judge panel, count 1. We, the 3-judge panel, do hereby unanimously find that the aggravating circumstance that the defendant was found guilty of committing does outweigh the mitigating factors presented in this case by proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Gurpreet Singh was convicted and charged with 4 counts of aggravated murder. The victim's family members thanked the judges, law enforcement, the residents of Westchester, and the Sikh community for their support. Case 4, Shelby Isaac. This is Shelby Isaac, who is facing a 30-year sentence in Tennessee for the murder of a pregnant woman, man, and unborn child. In 2016, 18-year-old Shelby reportedly shot and killed Eddie Tate and his pregnant girlfriend, Uina Thomas, in a parking lot at Memphis over a disagreement about a $250 hair weave. During her trial, Victoria Say, Shelby Isaac's getaway driver, gave statements after saying she saw Isaac pull the trigger. Her defense team also argued that the statement was inconsistent and there was a lack of physical evidence.
I'm trying to impeach her with a prior inconsistent statement. And in order to do that, I must confront her with that statement.
A statement that's inconsistent with a supplement.
No, it's inconsistent with what she just testified to. I asked her if she said that. She said no, it is inconsistent. And here's the inconsistency through Darion Melvin.
Her saying no is inconsistent with a police officer's supplement that's not inconsistent with Darion Melvin's statement. Darion Melvin's actual statement that he reviewed and signed doesn't say anything about getting away from us. I'm just missing.
And I have the opportunity to confront her with that statement. And if Mr. Melvin says no, she never said that to me, then I have to leave it alone.
But she's not trying to confront her with a statement. She's trying to confront her with a supplement.
No, I'm trying to confront her with a statement.
His statement's right here.
Yes, I got it out of
A supplement.
A verbal statement from his mouth is what I'm confronting her with. Something that he said that she said in front of me. She has denied making that statement.
As her verdict was read, Shelby Isaac collapsed into her attorney's arms and fell to the floor.
The foreperson of the jury, Ms. Murphy, is that your verdict? Mr. Aldridge, is that your verdict? Ms. Foster, is that your verdict?
Yes.
And is that your verdict, ma'am?
Yes.
Is that your verdict, ma'am?
Judge LeMay remained unmoved by the whole drama. He sentenced Shelby to 30 years in prison without parole. Prosecutors said she knew what she was doing when she brought a gun to the meeting and shot the couple.
That's count 2 of the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of second-degree murder as included in count 2. And that's also signed by Ms. Murphy. Is that your verdict, ma'am? Sir, is that your verdict? Yes, sir. Your verdict, ma'am?
Yes.
Your verdict, ma'am?
Yes.
Your verdict? Your verdict? Your verdict? Your verdict, sir? Yes, sir. Your verdict? Your verdict? Yes, sir. Your verdict. As to count 3, verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of criminally negligent homicide as included.
Shelby Isaac was found guilty of second-degree murder. Gloria Tate, Tate's mother, said he was her only child and that she visits his grave every week. Case 5, Ronald Lee Haskell. Meet Ronald Lee Haskell, who is currently facing the death penalty for the murder of 6 members of his ex-wife's family in Texas. On July 9, 2014, Haskell went to the Stay family home in Spring, Texas, dressed as a FedEx delivery driver. He tied his ex-sister-in-law, 34-year-old Katie Stay, and her husband Stephen Stay inside with their 5 children inside, and then shot each in the head. When the police arrived, Haskell refused to surrender, leading to a dramatic pursuit. He was eventually arrested after a long chase. During his trial, 15-year-old Cassidy Stay, the only survivor, testified against her uncle Haskell. Upon hearing his verdict, this suddenly happened.
Katie
The judge sentenced Haskell to death by lethal injection. Prosecutors said Haskell was a manipulator and a liar. Earlier, they brought in experts who said Haskell wasn't seriously mentally ill and had faked his symptoms.
Ronald Lee Haskell, the jury having found you guilty of the capital murder of Stephen Stay and Katie Stay, and having returned a unanimous affirmative verdict to issue number 1 and a unanimous negative verdict to issue number 2, the court sentences you to death by lethal injection. It is therefore the order, judgment, and decree of this court that you be remanded to the custody of the sheriff of this county to be delivered to the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, where you shall be continuously confined until 6 p.m. on a date to be determined, when the proper authorities shall administer lethal injection sufficient to cause your death.
Haskell was charged with 6 counts of capital murder. After the sentencing, Cassidy told Haskell he hoped God would give him the punishment he deserved. Number 6, Robert Gee. This is Robert Gee, currently facing murder charges for the killing of Jacob Ramos in Michigan. On June 26, 2014, Gee's friend Deshaun Bowen stole a car from outside a bar in Muskegon Heights. Jacob Ramos, 26, saw his brother's car being stolen and immediately reacted. He threw aside his jacket, jumped on his motorcycle, and chased after the carjacker. Unknown to Ramos, Robert Gee was inside a pursuing car. Gee leaned out and shot Ramos in the back while the car was moving. Ramos died at the scene. Gee was arrested and later stood trial, where a witness who was in the car with him testified.
Did you see anybody else in the vehicle with a gun? No. When you say he shot the gun, how is it that he shot the gun? Where was his hand and arm position? Out what window?
That's inside of the window.
And in what direction did he have the gun pointed?
Towards the car and the motorcycle.
Gee collapsed in his chair and was carried out of the courtroom.
Breathe easy. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna leave the courtroom, Your Honor.
Okay. We're gonna take Mr. G out of the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Come on, Robert. Yeah, that's it.
The judge sentenced Robert Gee to life in prison without parole for killing Jacob Ramos.
In Anderson, the court says this.
Deshaun Bowen, who started everything, was found guilty of first-degree murder and arson and also got a life sentence without parole. Robert was charged and convicted of first-degree murder, premeditated murder, felony firearms, and possession of a firearm. What do you think of these cases? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. Please subscribe, like, and share this video.